This documentary gave the world a pragmatic viewpoint on what was really going on in South Africa under the apartheid government. It humanized the pain, the trauma, the hurt, and most importantly, the lived experiences of Black South Africans. As a filmmaker, my objective has always been to tell stories that have never been told before in ways that are creative, fascinating, and emotionally engaging. Last Grave in Dimbaza was creative in the way in which he told those stories. The writing and the narration worked as a glue to integrate the visuals and the dialogue to create an emotional response. For example, in this scene we see a lady feeding a child. If one was to watch it without sound, nothing much would be drawn from the scene, but now watch it with narration.
Mrs. Ayante Nkosi looks after Melissa. She's one daughter of her own. Her only son died from malnutrition.
That is a heavy feeling. That is emotion brought about by the context derived through narration. And that is where my interpretation of this documentary comes from. It tells a story, or rather, it tells the stories of silenced voices that are oppressed. The irony is, the only reason this film was taken seriously was that it was from a Western perspective looking in. Don't get me wrong, it isn't a bad thing, but it does reflect the public sphere of the world at the time. Now, this is a very subjective take and view on it, but the juxtaposition in the film is a very prevalent theme stitched across the entire documentary. We get to see individuals from Western descent live comfortable lives, from their children gaining access to quality education, to the abundance of food and basic necessities. In contrast to that, we see Black people derived of an education that is up to par with the general standards. And even worse, a high mortality rate due to the lack of basic necessities. Although this documentary was filmed many years ago, it serves as an essential reflection of the past. Growing up, my family traveled quite a lot, and this in turn made me feel detached from any history or culture. Everywhere I went, I felt foreign, and I was considered alien, for lack of a better word. This made me feel disconnected. Yet watching this documentary made me realize the importance history holds in a country's society. Arguably, the imprints of apartheid are still present in current South Africa. Documentaries like this provide us with the footprints to follow and understand in order to ensure we don't repeat the same paths.